Alright then guys, today's session is all about doing the hardcore basics that bring about the absolute most amount of raw muscle and thickness to your back. We're going to be blasting the entire back from our lower back all the way up to our traps and everything in between. So first up we have the single arm lat pull downs. Ideally you want to do these as a warm up just to get some blood pumping into your lats before moving on to some pull-ups. But as you're going to see, I got pretty carried away and took them all the way to failure. After that, we'll do some barbell flexion rows and then finish with some deficit deadlifts. For those of you guys wondering why I'm actually doing it this way, it's not because I'm weird. Well, maybe I am, but I'm actually doing it because it's what's actually going to give me the biggest stretch possible. And when it comes to building muscle, what we want to do is make sure that we're getting the biggest stretch possible. So all I'm really doing here is, instead of doing it like this and sitting normally, I'm just switching up and I'm going side on and I'm really stretching here and then I'm pulling down and I'm letting it go. But I'm not letting it go completely, it's like completely controlled and stretching. So it's a pause at the bottom. Okay, lovely. That was some good weight. Gonna do the same thing. Working set number 2. What I'm gonna be focused on here is that pause at the bottom, stretch at the top, but then at the same time, at the end, I also want to make sure that I'm doing partials, which you're going to see. Lengthened partials, that is. So these are slow, controlled reps. Damn. So for pull-ups, we're using full range of motion. So chin to bar, then all the way down for the dead hang. We want to be hanging out at the bottom of every single exercise that we do for like 1 second to give us the most amount of muscle hypertrophy. So this is a great exercise. There's going to be a ton of fatigue, so don't do it as I did, and make sure that you do it at the beginning of your workouts. Now, moving swiftly on, we have deficit deadlifts. You guys will notice that there's a lot of back rounding. Now, if you're training for strength and you're lifting heavy, hey, it's probably a good idea from a leverage perspective and a little bit from a safety perspective to have a tight lower back, no rounding, straight core. But here with the slow controlled eccentric and the rounding of the back, it creates the deadlift into something like the barbell flexion row that I'll also be showing you in this video, which is categorically not just safe, but will bulletproof your back, such that if you get out of position in a real heavy deadlift or a lunge or some kind of row or really anything, your body is going to be strong in that flexed position and the probability of injury is going to be much lower. Now, there is a general consensus that if you arch your spine like this, that you're really going to risk injury. But from a massive amount of literature and sports science, it has become bleedingly obvious that the opposite is probably more true. If you can train in uncomfortable positions with lighter load, with higher reps, and managing the amount of volume that you're really doing, you know, like 2 or 3 sets instead of 20, and you slowly work up over time, back rounding is not just okay, it's actually great. Now, if you round your back with your max deadlift and you pull one of those, you know, really bad injuries, yeah, the surgeons are gonna tell you you're an idiot. So don't be a dummy, use high reps, low weight, slow control, and then round that back to kingdom come.
My back is so fucking sore. As if one more. Okay. Hold.
So this exercise is called the Barbell Flexion Row, and it's mostly known for being responsible for the tree shape muscle that you see from your favorite influencers that they have on their lower back. So for the setup, we're going to place a 20 kilo plate underneath our feet so that we feel slightly elevated off the ground, and then we can get that proper stretch that we want at the bottom of the movement. Now we pull the bar past our shins and drive our elbows back, touching the bar around our belly button area before slowly controlling the weight down and keeping a big chest and pausing at the bottom of the movement.
Right, so when you're doing this move here, you want to make sure that you're not falling into the eccentric. You really want to be controlling the eccentric and making sure that, you know, your back is fully taking the weight up. Because a lot of the time what happens is people put a lot of load on, they put a lot of weight, and then they just kind of like drop it and then rash it up. But we don't want to be doing that because we know that we're going to get the most muscle growth when we actually control the weight. So that's when we get the, I think it's all my scientific guys out.
It's like a real muscle stimulus of the step up that you can.
Yeah. Might look really dangerous what I'm doing, but all I'm really doing is using a lighter weight, because I know a lot of you guys are scared of like rounding your back, but if you're rounding your back on a lighter weight, this is completely safe to do, and so yeah, you guys should be doing